Hello everyone, my name is Likely Matt, and to the people who do know, or don't know, I like LEGO Ninjago. I even made a video of a tier list of the original 7th season Ninjago. I didn't do anything beyond season 7 because the video would have been too long, and also I'm not willing to rank the other ones because I'm not a fan of the redesigns. But besides that, I have loved watching stuff like Game Theory for a long time. All the way to the FNAF videos to even some of the more obscure titles. However, I've noticed something. They have never done a LEGO Ninjago video. And on top of that, I've been watching LEGO Ninjago again. Every single season, may I remind you. And I noticed something very odd about the connection between the Overlord and the Spinjitzu Master. That these two beings of immense power could be more than just a battle between good and evil. What if I were to tell you that they could actually be relatives? In this video, I'm going to make a little theory just to prove to you how these two might actually be family. To clarify anyone who doesn't know anything about Ninjago, this show takes place within Ninjago. Yeah, big surprise there. And with the several ninja and elemental masters and all the crazy creatures and beings, it all started from one thing. The first Spinjitzu master. He's the one who created all 16 realms. And along with that, there was the Overlord, who was basically the embodiment of evil itself. So with the first Spinjitzu Master being the embodiment of good and the Overlord being the embodiment of evil, it's presumed that the two of them were basically the entire creation of the six, were basically the things that created everything. Now, while we don't have a lot of information about what happened specifically, we do get a rough idea that they were in a huge war, and obviously the Spinjitzu Master managed to beat the Overlord by splitting Ninjago in half and having him and basically the Overlord couldn't really do much. Oh, but whoops, looks like Garmadon released him in Season 2. But obviously, with that in mind, there is a good question I have to ask. Is there a relation stronger than them just being the embodiment of good and evil? You see, while we know how the creation of Ninjago, the 16 realms, every being in the known universe, was created by the first Spinjitzu Master and maybe the Overlord, we don't know what created them exactly. We don't actually know what is the creation of the first Spinjitzu Master or the Overlord. We have not gotten any lore details whatsoever. There are a few reasons why I consider them similar. First off, the whole yin and yang concept. The embodiment of good and evil. It could actually make sense why the two would have some kind of family relation. And on top of that, their elemental abilities do actually appear to be very similar if you really think about it. Now, you might also be thinking about Sensei Wu and Lord Garmadon. These two kind of share a similar relationship with them being brothers, but despite that being mortal enemies, since one of them is literally pure evil after he got bit by the Great Devourer when it was a little itty-bitty snake. Well, it wasn't itty-bitty for long. Now, anyway, you might be wondering how I have any evidence that this little detail in the show makes any sense with the connection and with the Spinjitzu Master and Overlord being related to each other. Well, let's think about it. I mean, like I said earlier, like 2 seconds ago, we don't actually know where these two came from. We don't have any parents, no god of some sort, no nothing. As far as we're concerned, the Ninjago timeline started with them. So, how are we meant to find out if they have parents or any kind of bloodline connection? Well, that's actually a pretty straightforward answer. Well, okay, maybe it wasn't straightforward for some people, but for me, it was straightforward. Now, obviously, you gotta think about them counter-arguments and people who could consider, hold on, this proves this guy is a complete liar and a complete scammer. What the heck? Well, first things first, why hasn't this stated in the lore? Well, it was mainly Season 2 that introduced the dynamic, but it didn't build off at any other season, so what gives? At best, we understood that the Spinjitzu Master created the other realms, and I guess that's all we can really work with. So, I guess there's not really anything saying that there isn't a connection between these two being family or not, since there's nothing counteracting that, since nothing's ever been explained. Because, yeah, the show writers aren't exactly clear with things. So obviously we know for a fact that Wu and Garmadon, they're brothers, and we know for a fact that they're the perfect representation of good and evil. Then again, Wu has made some questionable choices that I wouldn't say are pure, but ignoring that. So let's review what we know so far. The Overlord and this first Spinjitzu Master came about the beginning of the universe, I'd say, and since we don't know if there's anything before that at all, or whatever created the universe, we're not exactly sure if there's concrete evidence. So, why am I claiming they're family? Here's my theory to how the world was created in Ninjago. In the dawn, there was some kind of being that was both yin and yang formed in one, but then that was split in half somehow, creating the Spinjitzu Master, the embodiment of peace, good, and then the Overlord, the embodiment of evil, malice, and pure, unfiltered cruelty. It wouldn't be the first time something in Ninjago was created or chronologically accurate, but never seen, explained, mentioned, or even considered. So, the fact that it is actually plausible that perhaps this yin and yang scenario is actually how the two were created, and it would actually make a whole lot of sense because the whole thing about Ninjago is the balance between good and evil, the yin and yang, balancing the entire known universe. So, the fact that there are two beings that represent each could be some kind of mythology. So while there isn't any logical explanation, we can just assume that it's some kind of mythological representation, and the way of the universe just making the balance itself. And if you want to have an argument, then consider this question: who the hell is Wu and Garmadon's mother? Did the Spinjitzu Master do it out of thin air or something? How about you think about that rather than contradicting what I'm saying? I'm just saying, is there a mother or not? Just curious. But back to this theory. So, the universe itself created these two for the sole purpose to start the balance, which ended up having Wu, Garmadon, the ninja, and all other forces coming into play to basically shift the world's balance and keep everything, well, balanced. I don't really have a good joke for this. I am running out of... This video's already long enough and I'm bad at making scripts. So perhaps there's some kind of hierarchy in Ninjago, higher than anything we've ever seen before. Something that created the first Spinjitzu Master and the Overlord so they could start Ninjago and the 16 realms and set in motion the events of the entire TV show. Obviously, I don't expect the TV show writers to explain any of this. I mean, this is a show about Lego Ninja. What do you expect from them? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to add in your own little theories or in the comments, then please do. And hopefully you'll consider subscribing because I need the YouTuber numbers up for validation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.